Hey guys, this is me Tyler. Today I'm going to go over the top 5 best strength weapons in Demon Souls. Demon Souls is the Souls game that has the lowest amount of weapons, but there's still 5 weapons that could make it onto the list. So without further ado, let's get started. And just remember before we start, this is my opinion. In first place, I have the Dragon Bone Smasher. Pretty sure you already knew this because I already made an almost 3-minute long video of covering the best strength weapon in every Souls game, and Dragon Bone Smasher definitely made it on. Why? It hits the hardest out of any weapon in the game. Gets passive strength scaling into B scaling in strength, but scaling won't increase. Instead, it just increases the physical damage and how much fire defense it gives you. But the look of it is ridiculous. It looks like a bone. I mean, it doesn't look like a bone. It looks like a slab, actually. I'm not going to go over too much of the Dragon Bone Smasher. That you have to get it with Pure White World Tendency in the Dragon God boss area, which is a huge pain because you will have to kill Armor Spider and Flame Lurker without dying to at least get Pure White World Tendency. There's another glitch that lets you just pass through those rocks. Then you can actually use it to take down the Dragon God, one of the worst boss fights in the game. Anyways, not going to cover too much of the Dragon Bone Smasher because it's already pretty popular for its 30 strength requirement, just 20 for two-handed. And since it's a very large sword, it's a nice moveset as well. And that's the weapon in first place. Number 2, the Meat Cleaver. I was about to put this weapon on first place, but I knew that it's not a strength-based weapon. It's more of like a quality and faith-based weapon. It's got some aiming magic attacks, but the reason why it's a strength weapon because it's an Escalian strength, but also an Escalian dexterity, making it one of the best quality weapons, plus an Escalian faith as well. And it's only at 26 strength, just like the Great Axe and Great Sword. And then 16 faith. It gets a split of 90 physical and 90 magic. And since it's got an Escalian strength, it does a ton of damage when it's two-handed. But also, it's not going to be first place on the list. It's just Escalian dexterity and Escalian faith. The damage doesn't increase. And it is a scaling. I mean, colorless Demon Soul weapons don't really improve the damage that much on most colorless Demon Soul weapons. But if you have like a lot of strength, dexterity, and faith, it's definitely going to be your option for literally any whatever build, like quality or faith. But I'm just going to put it on this list because I still think it's a strength weapon because of its S scaling. And for how much damage you get when it's two-handed, it gets like almost 100 points more damage because of how much strength you actually have when you two-handed weapon, because that's what strength builds do, not dexterity builds. And they're better for PvE in most of the cases, not for PvP. But anyways, PvP with strength will be a little bit better with PvP, but at that point I'm just going to put the Meat Cleaver on this list because of its scaling and strength. Number 3, the Night Sword. It's a straight sword. It gets one of the fastest movesets in the game. Doesn't pick up as much stamina when you one-hand it. But as for two-handed, it's gonna take up way more stamina than what you might think it'd take up. But since the Night Sword is on this list, it also brings back another weapon I wanted to put on the list, but it didn't quite make it, the Claymore. I know, the Claymore is kind of a strength weapon, but more like a quality-based weapon in that case. Because in the other Souls games, it's like more quality-based for the weapon itself. It's good for like quality builds instead. And the only scaling infusion that you get for strength and dexterity is crushing, which you still get it for halberds, even though those are usually dexterity weapons in the other Souls games, but they're instead strength weapons in this game. But we're gonna get to those a little later. But the Night Sword puts it onto this list, but how late you have to get it into the game. not that late. You just have to kill Dragon God to get to the inner ward. Progress through the inner ward, and then buy hit from the Dreckling Merchant, 20,000 souls. Or you can kill the Penetrator, and then there's a Red Eye Knight that has a Knight Sword on its corpse. So, still got that nice poke attack for its one-handed R2, which I wish the Claymore got, but instead get the Downward Slam, which is boring. It's probably the weakest Claymore in Souls games, but I still think the Knight Sword is the best one. It's also for quality-based builds, but it's used for like usually both builds. I don't really recommend it for any of the builds. It can be for like strength and quality builds instead. So the Knight Sword definitely makes it onto this list. At number 4, the Great Sword. It doesn't look like the Guts Great Swords we have today in like Elden Ring and the Dark Souls trilogy, and also in Night Rain. It looks more like the Zweihander instead. It's one of the funnest weapons I've used, and it's one of my personal favorite weapons in the game. Because the Great Sword gets such a good moveset, and still gets the same damage as the Great Axe, at least, but we used to get some aiming strength-based builds as well, even if a crushing infusion, but still cost a lot of reinforcement materials. That's why it lands 4th place on the list instead of the Knight Sword, which hardly needs any reinforcement materials. But at least it gets an S-scaling in strength when it's infused to crushing and reinforced +5, which is the same way for every crushing weapon that's infused with crushing gets an S-scaling in strength when it's reinforced to +5. And pretty nice, because there's hardly any weapons that'll get S-scalings in strength. I mean, there's some in Elden Ring that do, but honestly, there's not that much on like Dark Souls 3, except for like the Split Leaf Greatsword or Wing Knight Halberd. The Butcher Knife gets an scaling in strength up +10, but yeah, it needs regular Titanite, but it can't be infused or buffed. I mean, it can be buffed, just not infused. But we'll get to that way later when I make a Dark Souls 3 list. But Greatsword is definitely fun. You just have to kill a Red Eye Knight that I think is the Claymore. It's very rare. That's how I got it. I didn't even know. Or you can just get it the inner ward, which is the better way since it's on the way to the Penetrator. So you don't have to worry about farming for it, really rare. The best farming method is just enough luck wearing the ring that'll boost your item discovery, then having pure black world tendency. This is the most important part, is that the lower the world tendency is, then then the less rarity the items will have. So it's pretty good that if you are going to farm the Great Sword or other items, you shouldn't farm the Great Sword because you can already find it on the way to the Penetrator. Then I recommend you have pure Black World tendency for that because it works out the best. Anyways, this is one of the funnest weapons I use, one of my favorite weapons. Wish the Guts Great Sword was in this game. I'll be using that for literally the whole game because that's my favorite weapon in the whole Souls games. But it still makes it onto this list and is one of my favorite weapons in the game. And our last weapon that lands in number 5, the Mirrodin Hammer. It's a halberd, which is something we've been talking about with the Knight Sword when we got to that point. So the halberds only get crushing and quality infusions rather than sharp infusions instead, which that's usually the point of halberds for other Souls games. Actually get better dexterity scalings. So I really just think the Mirrodin Hammer was put on this list because it actually gets strike damage. It's called the Mirrodin Hammer, so it gets strike damage. Actually gets that poke attack for its R1s for its two-handed. So yeah, Mirrodin Hammer's on this list. I don't have anything really to say about this. Except for that's a halberd that should really get some dexterity scalings instead. But it gets strike damage as well, which is nice. So I really think that. And that is the end of our list. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more Souls game content, especially if you want me to do playthrough videos, which I already have a Bloodborne playthrough that's going right now. Promise I will make other parts. And then, thank you for watching. One of these weapons are your favorite? Comment down below.